Hi and welcome to the video. I'm Dame and this is Dame Over. So finally it's here, ladies and gents. The full update notes for the 1st of January's updates have been released today ahead of the drop date of Tides of War Chapter 2, which will be coming to us in just 3 days. Cue the fireworks, yay! So there is obviously a lot to talk about, including new game modes, TTK and TTD, new weapons, vehicle balancing, etc, etc. And what I've done in this vid is cherry pick what I think you guys are going to find the most important and most useful things to know. And of course, if you want to check out the patch notes for yourself and see all of them in detail, I've linked it in the description. So if you find this video useful or entertaining, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new around here and you want to keep up to date with even more Battlefield 5 content, then make sure you've hit the subscribe button too. Right, I'm going to be honest, it's a really long list, hence the length of this video, but if you've been staying clued in with what's been happening in Battlefield 5 recently, there is a lot that has been worked on and lots of changes that have been needed. So let's start with what we can expect from Lightning Strikes. So the whole chapter is going to be made up of 5 different chapter events, with each one focusing on a certain style of play or centered around a certain game type, much like we had in Chapter 1. Weeks 1 and 2, A Few Good Soldiers will be focused on a guest mode, an 8v8 version of Squad Conquest, which is different to the usual 16 versus 16 version. The rewards being the ZK-383 submachine gun and the Model 1944 semi-automatic rifle. And I plan on doing a follow-up video about Squad Conquest and all of the rest of the new content that's in the Lightning Strikes update tomorrow, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. Weeks 3 and 4 is titled Hold the Line, and this is focused around Breakthrough and Front Lines. This is where we see the first cosmetic reward, the final countdown headgear, and the powerful M1922 MMG as well for the support class. Now the third chapter event doesn't have many details attached to it as of yet. It's called Iron Skin and it's for week 5 and is only 1 week long. This is focused around tank warfare, but like I say, we still need to stay tuned for more details on the challenges and rewards. Weeks number 6 and 7 are called Armor on the Horizon, and this involves, and I can't believe they've brought it back because everyone hated it in Overture. Yes guys, I'm sorry, Grand Operations is back. So it'll be 2 weekly challenges. That's 2 weeks of playing Grand Operations. I'm laughing because I'm just so baffled why they brought it back. But just like week 5 for Iron Skin, we don't have the details on the rewards just yet. Now, weeks 8 and 9 sees the return of Rush in Unstoppable Force. And as is apparently the running theme, they still don't actually have the rewards or anything up yet, but they've been described on the EA website as superb. So, you know, fingers crossed that turns out as good as they hope it will. And something that's entirely new to Lightning Strikes is new special assignments, which sees big chunks of XP that you can earn through specific special assignments. And just like regular assignments, these are a set of mini challenges that have a reward at the end after you complete the tasks. Now these are the same as regular assignments. You go to the assignments section and you can choose up to 4 of them and they track apparently simultaneously. And there is a complete list of the new special assignments on the EA website. I've linked the appropriate page in the description, so make sure you go check that out. Otherwise, I'll just be sitting here reading a list, and that is quite frankly really boring. So let's move on to the more important stuff, the patch notes themselves. And I've just done a quick count on the patch notes page, and there are 111 different bug fixes, improvements, and patches that will be coming with this update. So some of the top fixes are to do with time to death and the death experience. Lots of people in the Battlefield 5 community were asking for more information to be given to them when they're being shot at and when they take damage, and that has been listened to. We've got 4 or 5 different fixes here that are being implemented to help us find out where we're being shot from, and therefore we can do something about it. So there's issues with the UI directional damage indicator. It's going to be more accurate so you can find out where you're taking damage from and therefore be able to take cover in a more appropriate way. Tracer bullets from enemy fire are also going to be easier to see, and there have been a couple improvements to the death cam, so you'll be able to see who has killed you more easily and what they were using when they did it. There have also been 3 main improvements to vaulting, so it's been improved that you no longer get stuck on steep hills or slopes. You won't have to keep sliding down to the bottom and want to put your foot through your TV. They've also improved vaulting detection when you're going through broken windows. This is something that is a big gripe amongst the community, trying to get a way through into a building and get out of the line of an enemy's fire. It's such a big problem as well. I've come across it a few times and it just drives me absolutely crazy. But now you'll be able to vault through windows at even tighter angles without having to be incredibly accurate when you line up with it. And there's also an issue that's been fixed where you might receive full damage when you're vaulting over a wall. The revive mechanic has had a look at as well, so there's an issue that the camera would clip through the soldier. That's been fixed, and there's improved camera behavior when you're reviving a downed player. But the main one for me, and this is one for console players, the issue has been fixed where you would accidentally pick up your teammate's weapon while you're reviving them. This is another big one for me. The amount of times I've accidentally picked up my teammate's weapon just because I was reviving them is insane. So thank God this one is in. There's also been an improvement to the sliding activation when you're sprinting. So it's reducing the impact of turning while sprinting. So you'll be able to stay at your full speed and actually be able to activate the slide mechanic. This is one that I'm very happy about. I felt there's a lot of inconsistency when you're trying to double tap to activate the slide mechanic, and it is a very useful movement technique to use as well, so that's a very good addition. And now we're on to vehicles, which have a hell of a lot of their own patches, but I'm going to stick mainly to gameplay, so here are the main ones. It's now going to be possible for all tank cannons to one-hit kill all types of aeroplanes, even those that are equipped with specializations that reduce damage from flak. And now we're on to weapons, gadgets, and specializations, and again I've picked the most important, and we'll start by looking at a fix to some of the SMG specializations. So weapons with enhanced grips and slings and swivels remained inaccurate when going from sprinting to firing. This has been fixed because they didn't recover accuracy quickly enough when you're going from sprinting to hip firing, so that reduced the intended mobility advantage they should have. There's also been a fix so that the Panzerfaust now one-hit kills all types of aeroplanes, even when equipped with specializations that reduce damage from flak, much like the tank cannons. But overall, the damage of the Panzerfaust has been reduced. It's apparently very easy to use and is very widely equipped. It's supposed to be a fast fire and forget weapon as it's described in the patch notes. So the idea being that the damage is still high enough, even if you do have a smart player that has an anti-tank loadout, you will be able to kill an enemy tank if you use enough skill and tactics to defeat it. We've also got an increase to the throwing knife max damage. It's gone from 6.5 meters to 10 meters, and there's also been a reduced delay between two consecutive throwing knives. That's been reduced by 40%. We've also got some damage reductions to take into account. So the Gewehr 43 and Selbstlader 1916 have had their minimum damage reduced to 33.5 from 35. And there's also been a general damage and range buff for the Mark 6 revolver. SMGs have also had their own set of improvements added to them. Now, the idea that DICE have had are that they want to improve the mid-range combat ability of the medic class, so there have been reductions in recoil and increases to accuracy, so it will allow SMG users to maintain damage on the target and increase their effectiveness overall. I don't really think it's going to work because SMGs are supposed to be very powerful at close range, and these sorts of buffs will not improve that whatsoever. But anyway, we'll wait and see if it does change the game somewhat. It's just a very confusing decision to me because literally no one has asked for them to be improved at mid-range. It's all about close range for SMGs. I think the medic class is still going to be incredibly underused even after this patch. So moving on, there have been general fixes for maps and modes and also the UI, HUD and options as well. I won't go through all of them because they're not that important, I don't think, to the overall gameplay, but most importantly, and one that I've been very looking forward to, are the audio patches. So footstep audio has been improved. It makes walking and sprinting louder for a better gameplay experience, they say, whereas crouching and crawling generates less sound, so that means you'll be able to sneak and stealth a bit more effectively. There have been improved footstep sounds as well, so based on what type of physics material you're walking on, it makes it much easier to identify where that player is coming from, and generally hearing footsteps and the enemy team is going to be made much easier, which I for one am incredibly happy about. The amount of times that I've been killed by players that are sat right next to me because I can't hear them is absolutely infuriating. In Battlefield 1, the footsteps were very clear and very easy to identify. You had to be far more tactical if you were approaching someone and trying to sneak up on them, so hopefully this particular patch improves the experience. And right near the bottom of the patch notes, we've got stability, so there have been multiple crash fixes and general stability improvements, so hopefully people aren't getting kicked out of lobbies or not able to load into lobbies anymore. It doesn't specify what has been improved, which is a bit confusing to me considering the detail that it's gone into in the rest of the patch notes, but hopefully there'll be less problems with people getting kicked out of the game. So those are all of the patch notes that I felt worthy of sharing with you guys. Like I said before, there are absolutely loads more that I've missed out, so I'd recommend you go and check them out so you can see for yourself in detail. But basically, there's been an improvement to SMGs, whether that one actually works or not. There's been improvements to vaulting. There's been improvements to the audio. There are improvements to the second-to-second information you get when you're being shot at. And basically, the word improvement has been used quite a lot. So we've only got 3 days to wait until this actually comes to us and we can see for ourselves whether it's worked or not. But my fingers are still crossed. It looks pretty positive from my point of view. All of these fixes are ones that the Battlefield 5 community have asked for and ones that the devs, I'm sure, have wanted to put in place from the very beginning, but for some reason haven't been able to. So hopefully The Battlefield 5 experience has been improved for all of us. And I want to know what you guys think about the patches. What is the most important part of these patch notes that is coming out? Which part do you think is going to improve the game the most? So make sure you jump into the comments and you let me know your thoughts. And here is a quick thank you to my Dame operatives, those of you guys that are helping to support the channel through Patreon. It's because of you guys that I can make content as often as I do, and hopefully with a bit more support in the near future, I can start putting out more content and do this full time. So if you want to become a patron yourself, there's a link in the description. There'll also be one in the pinned comment, and it'll take you straight to the Patreon page where, if you'd like to, you can help support the channel from as little as $1 a month. So if you had a good time, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button too. Feel free to share this video with whoever and wherever you like, and don't forget to hit that bell button for notifications so you don't miss any future posts. And until next time, that's Dame over. Peace.